weapons, deadly aim, and really fancy math.
Hello, I'm Nico and today we are reviewing Wave 2 of Galaxy Squad, which includes everything in front of you with 4 sets. Comment down below your thoughts on the series as a whole and this wave in particular. Like and subscribe if you do enjoy, and let's get into it. The first set is the Crater Creeper, which has 171 pieces and originally retailed for $20, which isn't a terrible deal, but the price per part is a little high. The first minifigure is the Alien Bugoid. While being simple, it has some great printing on his torso and legs, as well as this fun molded piece, and then it is wielding the standard blaster of the Galaxy Squad wave. The second minifigure is Chuck Stonebreaker. He wields 2 of these pistols, but without the binocular attachment. He has some nice printing like all the other Galaxy Squad members, and his face does not change from last time, with the standard one with his smirk, as well as the alternate face with the oxygen mask. This is the vehicle for Chuck to use against the Crater Creeper. It is a little speeder, which has 2 flick-fire missiles on the sides, which don't work too well. There's a console sticker, as well as some stickering on the front. Then these things in the back, which I assume is some type of power source. And then on the bottom, there is some propulsion detailing here. You can stick the blasters on either side with these clips right here, and then you can sit him nicely in the seat to have him controlling the vehicle. Finally, we have the Crater Creeper itself. It's not a complex build, but it does its job very well. I like the use of the Hero Factory pieces here to make up the legs and the jaws. The one main feature of this set is the jaws being able to open and close, which if you pull that back, the rubber band will have it lock in place, so you can attack the Galaxy Squad member, as you see here. There's a nice printed piece right here for a mouth, as well as some eyes on the jaw function. And then in the middle section, there's some detailing with some engines to show the biomechanical aspect, as well as a controller sticker. And then on top, there are some more flick-fire missiles, which, since they're a little higher up, work a bit better. There is space for the Bugoid to sit right here. And then the only other feature is the back giant canopy piece here, which under it you can place the blaster for the Bugoid while he is controlling the biomechanical vehicle. The Crater Creeper is a good smaller set of this wave. While I wish the rubber band was hidden in there and the legs had more articulation than just this one falling down due to gravity, the set is still fun with the play features it has and the fact that you can stage a little battle with everything included. The next set in this wave is the Eradicator mech. It has 440 pieces and retailed for $40, which is a good price, and it has a lot inside of it, with 2 bug creatures to fight, the Orange Team members with Jack Fireblaze and the Orange Team sidekick, and the Eradicator mech itself. The first minifigure is Jack Fireblaze. He has 2 pistols, but with the binocular attachments this time. He has the standard Galaxy Squad printing, and his face, like the other iteration, is exactly the same, and he has the oxygen mask on the back. We next have the Orange Team robot sidekick, which has the upgraded armor and the wings, which looks very nice. He has the same printing as before, but this time he does have a different weapon with this large cannon built with a lot of wheel pieces, and I think it looks really cool. The first of the bugs is the ground variant right here, which has 4 legs using the same construction as the Space Swarmer back in Wave 1. He has a little mouth with 2 pincers and some eyes, which can be angled forward if you want, but it looks better in this pose. He also has a cocoon on the back, but this time in translucent green, which is a great color to get this piece in. You can open it up and put stuff inside, but it does use a smaller circular cocoon piece, so I don't know if you can exactly fit a minifigure in it. This part can also be moved, and I do wish there was some more color here, but other than that, this is a really solid bug. Next, we have the flying variant, which also has 4 legs right here. It doesn't have shell detailing like the other one does, as this has wings instead in that translucent green. The translucent green on the back also has a stinger, and this whole piece can move wherever you adjust it, as well as the wings can flap in different ways if you want to. It has those 4 same leg connections and a head that's exactly identical to the other one, and this also looks really good. This mech looks impeccable and is definitely worth the price. There's a decent bit of posability, which you do expect from mechs like this, but there's some places where you can definitely add it. So we're going to start at the cockpit up here, which as you can see is shaking, because this is actually a separate vehicle which can pop off, because Galaxy Squad loves doing this. This is a flying vehicle with 2 wings, which you can lower down. It has flick fire missiles on either side, which you can launch, of course. And then it has some stickering right here and a nice large cockpit, which you can open up. There's some printed pieces inside for paneling, and there is lots of space for the minifigure to be sat inside, as you see here. On the back, there are some engines, and then there's this piece right here, which can be opened up and raised, and this drops out something, which is this nuclear disc piece, which I always found funny that they were dropping nukes on the bugs. But I did put on this sticker poorly, so it would have looked nicer if it was a print, or as a kid, I put it on actually correct. This second section right here still transforms into a normal back. The first thing you do is bring this section down and then turn it around, and then you switch the orientation of the arms to the other side to complete the second mech. The bigger one is pretty cool, but I like that this one still serves on its own and isn't just a platform that the vehicle comes off of. Now, focusing on this, it has a cockpit with a stickery detail and some targeting, as well as some bug splatters on here. Opening it up, it has enough space for the orange robot sidekick to be sat inside and closed in, even with the wings. And then these clips right here are for the blasters that the orange team member has to be applied to the set and still add more firepower to this mech. As well as that, there is a little pin on one of the arms right here, which can hold this other blaster. There are also some engines back here, which I don't know exactly what purpose they serve, but they could give it some mobility in the zero gravity or low gravity environment. This first arm right here has posability with this ball and socket joint, and then it has this giant rotating cannon, which is more for show. There's no actual play feature here, but you can rotate it and fire it if you want. There is some detailing down here, which is on the main version, but is hidden by how it's oriented here, with some cautioning in orange and white. On the other side, there is the same building connection for the basic part of the arm, but this time you get 5 flick-fire missiles, which are launched by pushing these forward. As you saw me do before, there is full torso articulation. You can spin this all the way around, which is great, so he can be fighting 360 degrees. The lower torso has some nice detailing, and then the legs are my only real problem with this set, other than the fact that there is a lot of stickers, and most of them happen to be on the legs. These do bring some nice details, but my problem with the legs is that it's only 2 spots of articulation. There is no knees, only the bending right here, which you can get a lot of motion with the ratcheted joint that you have, and then the ball joint for the giant foot, which also is restricted by this piece to make it more stable, which is understandable. The stickering detail does add a lot, especially the splatter patterns on the legs, and I think there's a nice combination of building techniques to create this design. The Eradicator mech is a strong showing for the series. The price is great, there's a lot of functions, and you get a lot with the pieces that are included, so this is definitely a standout in a wave of great sets. The next set in the wave is the Hive Crawler, which has 560 pieces and retailed for $70. Not the best price, which brings its value a little down, but the play features in this are amazing, and it was one of my favorite sets as a kid, despite the price, which I didn't have to worry about at that time. It includes 3 minifigures, the entirety of Red Team, an alien Mantizoid, 2 of these cocoon eggs, the Red Team vehicle for the set, and then the Hive Crawler itself. First, we have Billy Starbeam, who has one of the standard Galaxy Squad blasters. He has nothing unique to him from the sets prior in Wave 1 that he appeared in, and he has the same face with an oxygen mask in the back. Next, we have the Red Team Sidekick, which is always great to get with the cool head mold and printing. He has a jetpack once again, which is the same as the other set he appeared in Wave 1, so once again, he's not unique. Finally, we have a new minifigure, the Alien Mantizoid, which is just such a cool name, and he looks so cool. He is my favorite minifigure from the series, and he also includes a new torso print with some more insect shielding, which shows how armored up he is. He has the same legs as before, but the headpiece is new with 2 giant red pincers, 4 eyes, and then antennae that are just in the mold itself, which is a much better decision, but I wish they were colored because that may have added something to it. He also has 2 of these weapons, which use that same energy sword piece in dark red with some dark red clips to create some cool melee weapons for him to use. Next, we have these 2 cocoon eggs, which use the cocoon pieces in a pink this time, and if you open them up, they each have a different bug. This is the flying variant, which uses the same main piece and the tooth pieces as legs, as well as this piece, which is usually for feathers as wings, which is a nice touch in that translucent green. The other cocoon contains a similar bug, but this is the ground variant, where it has all 4 legs as before, but it doesn't have any piece under here because the head is flipped, as it is the same piece, but this time it has larger eyes and the mandibles are still exactly identical. Then we have the red team vehicle, which is a pretty slim one, definitely made for speed. It actually has a splitting function as well, which comes right here. If you pull it apart, you have a vehicle for both team members, and this one is definitely for the robot sidekick, as it includes his weapons on the bottom, as well as some blasters, and then a sticker detailing for the red team, and then some handlebars that he can hold on to. The other red team vehicle has a little controller on one of these sides with an engine piece, and then on the other side you have this clip, which can store the red team member's blaster, and then he can pilot the ship from inside. It also uses these 2 pieces, which were found on the Ice Dragon, at least to my knowledge first, and they work great for the vehicle, as well as they have 2 blasters on the inside here, using some translucent blue cylinders. Now, to talk about the Hive Crawler, which the first and main feature is the legs itself, which with a wheel down here, if you roll it on the ground, it actually looks like it's walking, which makes me so sad that this set is that expensive. On the back, we have these alien UFO pieces, making the thorax of the creature, which also has another feature using these egg pieces right here. So if you pull it back and let it load up, you can shoot those out. And if they hit a hard surface or just sometimes at the right angle, they'll break open and reveal the bug, which is just another fun play feature. On the back of the thorax, there is some big pieces with some stickery detailing, as well as that printed piece that comes in a lot of those Galaxy Squad sets, and then some more stickering here. Continuing down, there are these 2 cannons, which are on ball turrets, so you can move them around and angle them as you want. They can also come a little forward, but they are angled back in this pose, which often looks the best, so I usually keep them around here. There is this section for the back of the head, which is built up nicely. There's some gold bits spread throughout, and then some engine detailing like back here to keep that bionic but alive look that the Galaxy Squad theme has. The head uses 2 of these bubbles for the cockpit's eyes, and then they have this really nice print for the bug eyes with the hexagon pattern, and you can open these up to reveal the cockpit, which has a sticker back there showing some bugs and some vital signs and readings, as well as some controls right here, and then more gold detailing. You can of course sit the Mantizoid down here and close him up, which he's nicely protected by these domes, but still visible from the front. At the front of the bug, there are 4 jaws using the Exoforce arm pieces, and then another one of those printed mouthpieces, which finishes the beetle-like design that this one is going for. The legs, while simple in design, work nicely with the function, and they also use these Hero Factory pieces at the end, just like many of the other sets in this wave and the series have done. The Hive Crawler doesn't have the best price, but it has some great play features and is a really fun set. I enjoyed this a ton as a kid, and I would recommend it if you can find it for cheaper, because it's not worth too much of a price increase, but it's something, if you do have interest in the series, that I definitely recommend getting. The last, but certainly not least, set in Galaxy Squad is the Galactic Titan. It has 1,012 pieces, retailed for $100, and has so much. When I got this, I was so excited, and it's still one of my favorite sets, which I do love a lot of these from Galaxy Squad, but this one is definitely up there in top 3. It includes a lot, with this giant centipede right here, a winged mosquitoid, Solomon Blaze, the blue robot sidekick, max solar flare, a mantizoid, a little ground station for the insectoids, and the galactic titan itself. We start with the winged mosquitoid, which is exactly the same as many of the variants. He has the antennae, which often get lost, this nice piece for the wings on his back, and then the nice molded part for his head, as well as the standard blaster that many of the insectoids have in this series. Next, we have Solomon Blaze with the standard Galaxy Squad blaster. I love this coloring, and he is the favorite minifigure head of this wave for me. And once again, he is the oxygen mask as his second face. Next, we have the blue robot sidekick, which is identical to the one that appeared in the first set, the Space Swarmer, with the giant laser cannon, as well as using two of the base guns as a jetpack with this little antennae on the back. We have an exclusive figure for the set, which is Max Solar Flare. He is exactly identical to Solomon Blaze with the blaster accessory, the printing and helmet, everything except for the face, which on his face, he has a beard in ginger, as well as an angered but stern look, with the addition of a microphone and a targeting eye on the opposite eye that Solomon has it on. On his back, he is the same exact printing, but with an oxygen mask, just like all the other figures. Lastly, we have the Mantizoid once again, which is one of my favorite figures. He has such cool printing, some greatly designed molded pieces, and some cool weapons to go along with it. We'll start with the Centipede, which uses these hinging parts for the movement of the segments, which only go back and forth. On the back, we have some seaweed in light green, as well as one of the cocoon pieces, which can come off, and if you use it, you can place a minifigure inside and have them captured, as well as being transported through this creature. The two segments in the middle are identical, and all of them have the same exact toe design with the Exoforce arm and this black claw. The only difference is the layering of the hinge pieces to make them work properly. In the front section, we have a space for the driver, which is usually the Mantizoid, who sits nicely in there. There's a little joystick in the front, as well as two eyes on the side, which is a nice use of the chair piece often found in the other Galaxy Squad sets, but in black, to make that all happen. And this also holds onto the mouth, which uses 4 more of these Exoforce arms, as well as the tooth, but in light green, to create that look. We then have this insectoid base, which has 3 main sections. The first is this tower over here, which has some of the insectoid infection spewing out of it, as well as 2 of these nice pipe pieces, which have a translucent green on the interior, as well as a translucent clear to have that color popping through. And then there's this tower continuing up with some of these windows pieces, and then there are 4 different spikes, as well as one of these cocoon egg pieces being held at the top of it. This one has the flying variant, which we also saw in the Hive Crawler. There is a play feature held by these 2 pieces and this lever right here, which pushing up will launch the cocoon out of this area and possibly break it open to attack the Galaxy Squad. On either side, there are these bridges, which have used pieces that we've seen before, and then there's this spot over here on the first side, which is a place where you can hold the cocoon in place, and then have a Galaxy Squad member being captured and monitored. And then on the other side, there is one of those power miner crystals in the translucent green, and this little connection piece here, which is for the gun of the Mosquitoid, which I'm assuming allows you to charge that weapon for battle. We're finally on to the Galactic Titan, which is just a mammoth of a vehicle. The vehicle is huge, but I'm going to make it easier by showing you one of the main functions, which is of course a separating one, and you can pull this front part off to reveal a flying vehicle, but we're going to review that second. We have the ground vehicle, which is moved by these 4 tread pieces. These are great pieces to get, and they are a bit repetitive to build, but once you're done, the angling that it's at makes it look really cool. In between the treads on both of the sides are these little clips right here, which you can take the blasters that the Galaxy Squad members have and attach them for storage. The main detailing of this is like the Vermin Vaporizer, with the UFO pieces and the open window pieces being the main portion of the design, and I think it definitely looks better here, and I was able to apply the stickers much better, so those details pop out as well. The bottom is pretty basic, other than that being mainly a Technic construction. Even back here is a little open and barren, with some lights here, some yellow pieces, and some red, which I don't exactly like showing, but it's where the connection between the two happens, so I get why they did that for kids. But then the only other details back here are some red lights on the back. In the middle section, you can raise it entirely up, which opens up this interior space, which if you see that peg there, that is for the alien cocoon to be held by the Galactic Titan, which is a nice little addition. And then you have this giant cannon, which you can raise up this targeting thing, I assume, with a red light in the middle. And then it revolves around on a ratcheting circular piece. And these two giant missiles can be moved up and down, and of course you can fire it. There's more detailing on the front of the cockpit, which includes lots of great pieces, and then on the bottom there are some more blasters as well as some more lights, which are kind of hidden by this piece. You can raise the cockpit piece itself right here, which is one of those giant domes used in some of the bigger sets of last series, but you can also raise this entire section to get access to the front cockpit. This has some gaps right there, which I don't exactly like, but I do like this giant glass piece in the back, which blocks it off from the rest of the build, but still gives you a look at what's behind it. There are some joysticks right here, and then a temperature piece, and then there's enough room for a minifigure to sit inside. You can close that all up and have the driver nice and situated in the vehicle. Next, we have the flying portion of the set. It has some continual detailing on the front with the alien UFO pieces and the Galaxy Squad symbol on both of these sides. You also have this interesting piece, which I kind of imagine like Star Wars, where they have like marks for all the targets that they killed. In this case, it's a bunch of insects, and this sticker is identical, but I wish they took the time to switch it around so it doesn't mess with the vent being on the back here, but then on the other side, the vent is on the front. There's some other nice detailing here, but then there's this main cockpit, which is just one large piece. This piece I love, and it has some nice sticker detailing with some bugs being squished on there, and then a targeting piece that came in another set. The cockpit is pretty open. There are two spots here to sit minifigures. The top is simple with just a computer pad, but it does have this stickered piece right here for a holographic panel. The bottom has more controls, same as the bottom with the presser gauge and two controllers, as well as a nice seat. And then you can move this back so there's enough space that the minifigure isn't getting hit by it. The bottom is pretty barren as it is covering the rest of the Galactic Titan, but there is some engine detailing back here with 4 of those engine pieces, which nicely hides some of the Technic that's included. The rest of it has some nice sloping back here, which is covered by the wings for the most part, but when you flip it out, it's more revealed, so I like that they added those details. The top is covered mostly by this piece with some other detailing on the front, but this I've only seen in the Atlantis Neptune's carrier, but this time it's in white and has the Galaxy Squad symbol, which I didn't exactly get centered, but looks good, and then it has a big fuel logo on it, so I'm assuming this powers the entire thing, which leads to the 3 engines on the back. Moving on to the wings, they are identical on both sides. There's a lot of detailing on the front, and then a sticker with the blue team symbol, and you can change the wings orientation, which only locks to a certain position either way, which is really great. And then these giant cannons here are revealed, which are built up with more of the pieces that created the engine. And then under that, there are some flick-fire missiles, because who doesn't love some flick-fire missiles? The only other details are a red light on this side and then a green light on the other side, which reminds me of LEGO Atlantis once again. The pieces to connect the 2 parts of the Galactic Titan are better hidden here, as they are lower down, but I still wish they were a different color, even though I know it was done so kids could see where the function combines. The Galactic Titan is a worthy finale for Galaxy Squad. While I'm sad this series didn't get a 3rd wave or continued, it is just such a strong ending, and I do have to appreciate that. The price is good for what you're getting. You get so much in this set, and it is ginormous. There are so many little play features. There's so many scenarios you can run out with it. It is just the perfect battle set to cap off this series. With every set reviewed, these are my final thoughts. Galaxy Squad as a whole is a great series. There's so much character, so much life, so many fun little play features in all of these sets that make it such a memorable series in my eyes. I love the biomechanical insectoids and the sheer amount of guns, as well as the splitting features involved in the Galaxy Squad vehicles. Compared to Wave 1, Wave 2 edges it out just by a hair. There are less sets, but I like more of these, and they lead towards the top of my rankings of all of these sets. The Crater Creeper is the one I like the least, but it itself is not a bad set. It's just the ones surrounding it are so much better, it's just hard for it to stand in such greatness. The Galactic Titan and the Eradicator mech stand out as not only good sets, great for value with their price, but also what they contain is a lot, and you can do so much with them that they are so worth buying. Even if you can find it on the resale for a couple extra dollars, it is definitely worth it. Some of the other ones aren't the best price, but they still pack a lot of play features like the Hive Crawler, which makes me still find value in them, despite them not always being the best deal for your wallet. Now I want to hear from you. Comment down below your thoughts. I would love to start a conversation. Like and subscribe if you have enjoyed, and see you guys next time.